Commander Marcus Hale stepped out of the docking tube and onto the shining ring of Caldron Station. The ring glittered like a silver crown around the green-gold planet far below. Little freight pods slid past on silent rails, their running lights blinking red and blue. The air smelled of hot machine oil, roasted spice root, and a dozen strange perfumes mixed together. Marcus tasted excitement on his tongue. Today was the day of the yearly multispecies talent auction, and he had come with a single risky plan. Human explorers had just found a sealed Dyson archive at the edge of known space. The files inside were ancient and written in languages no human scholar could read. Marcus needed a mind that could unlock those codes. The auction list offered many famous experts, cyber oracles with chrome skulls, Titan-sized Quarian engineers who could lift a shuttle, even an empathic data swarm kept alive in a jar of blue mist. Admirals back on Earth would have loved any of those bright, safe choices. Marcus, however, was hunting a quiet line buried deep in the catalog. Lot 87, linguistic novice, low physical aptitude. Most buyers brushed past the line. Marcus did not. His instincts, trained by a lifetime of border diplomacy, told him that sometimes treasure wore plain wrapping. The crowd moving toward the auction hall was a living rainbow. 6-armed Schulterian voyage shimmered in color-changing robes. Squat Farun miners with stone-rough skin joked and coughed ozone-scented smoke. 2 spider-legged Kitson children skittered between tall traders like playful toys. Marcus, dressed in a simple gray jacket that hid the rank stripes on his sleeves, walked with steady calm. His left eye visor flickered with live price feeds, but he ignored most of them. He already knew what he meant to spend. The hall itself looked like an ancient sports arena that had learned to float. Wide seats rode on magnetic cushions, drifting slightly whenever people shifted. Hologram banners above the central stage glowed. Vidi fair, bid fast, credit viewer FI. A soft, excited hum vibrated through the floor plates. A jade-scaled Lervian took the stage. Honored buyers, the auctioneer said in perfect galactic standard, voice ringing from hidden speakers. Welcome. Let us begin. The first lots flew past in flashes of colored light and sharp numbers. Lot 1, a hypercomputation prodigy, sold for 9 million credits. Lot 12, a zero-gravity architect, earned nearly half that. The crowd cheered each time the laser gavel flashed. Marcus watched without bidding. Instead of numbers, he studied patterns, who raised paddles early, who waited, who leaned forward when a certain skill appeared. It was like reading wind on water. Lot 32, a Quarian master engineer the size of a cargo shuttle, started a bidding war loud enough to shake the speaker grills. Admirals back home might have cheered if Marcus bought such muscle. He did not lift his paddle. Raw strength solved only some puzzles, and the Dyson archive was not one of them. A short rest break followed. Drones offered glowfruit slices and spiced coffee. Marcus stayed seated and opened the thin file for Lot 87. The single photo showed a very slim being with silver skin, violet eyes, and a blank expression. No homeworld listed. No records of family. The description felt like a shrug, almost an apology. Marcus smiled. Hidden treasure indeed. Lights dimmed again. Seats floated back to attention. The auctioneer's scaly tail flicked like a metronome. Lot 87. A narrow tube lit bright white. A slender figure stepped onto the round stage, wearing a plain white tunic that hung too loose on narrow shoulders. Slim silver cuffs circled her wrists. Her skin shimmered like moonlight over water, and faint blue lines pulsed beneath the surface. She looked around the tiers, calm, curious, not frightened. Designation Lyrina, the auctioneer announced. Fluent in 700 vocal languages, partial fluency in 3 silent lexicons, eidetic sculptural memory, physical rating minimal. Reserve bid, 10,000 credits. Opening offer. Silence fell like a dropped sheet. 10,000 credits was pocket change in this hall, yet no one lifted a paddle. Someone in the back chuckled. A broad-chested mercenary in iron-gray armor leaned to a friend and muttered, "Walking starlight twig." Many eyes slid away as if the item were already unsold. Marcus stood. 10,000, he said, voice clear. A thin Nargethi delegate lifted a purple paddle. 20. 40. Marcus replied before the echo faded. Now whispers ran through the tiers. Why bid it all? Might the frail girl hide secret value? Prices began to jump. 50, 80, 100, 200. Curious bidders played along, hoping to spark a real contest. Most quit quickly. At 500, only Marcus and the Nargethi remained. Marcus raised his paddle again. 1,000. The delegate hesitated, receiving the silent report in his ear. The pause told Marcus everything. The rival had reached his ceiling. Still, Marcus waited one more heartbeat, then lifted his paddle higher. 5,000. A wave of gasps rolled around the amphitheater. 5,000 credits was far below the sums spent on earlier stars of the show, yet it sounded loud because everyone else had valued Lyrina at nearly nothing. The auctioneer let the hush stretch, then struck the air with a slim blazer rod. The stage lights flashed. Sold. Lot 87 to bidder 247. Lyrina's silver cuffs split with a soft click and dropped away. She did not rub her wrists. She simply watched Marcus walk down from his tiered seat. Auction rules allowed buyers to confirm identity, but Marcus offered more than procedure. He opened his palm in a greeting used by several light-bone species and spoke gently. I'm Commander Hale. You are safe now. Lyrina laid her cool fingers across his palm. Her violet eyes met his without flinch or plea. Safe is a flexible word, she said in soft, perfect standard. I intend to make it strong, Marcus answered. Up close he saw tiny motes of light drifting under her skin like slow fireflies. He signed the payment screen, accepted a thin data rod of contract terms, and led her toward the exit. Behind them, voices buzzed with guesses and doubts. The side corridor muffled the hall's roar. Soft lights glowed along the floor, guiding them toward lifts. Marcus slowed so Lyrina's shorter stride would not hurry. Do you need water or rest? He asked. Water, yes. Rest later, she replied. Her voice carried a faint harmonic, like two notes sung gently together. He pulled a sealed water straw from a pocket belt and passed it to her. She drank with precise, careful sips and returned the straw cap politely. Thank you, she said, and Marcus sensed the thanks was real. A mirror-walled lift slid open. As the doors closed, their reflections stood side by side. Marcus broad-shouldered, dark-haired, human. Lyrina slender and silver, eyes like morning stars. She studied the image for a moment. You bought me, she stated, not accusing, only confirming fact. I bought a contract so I can tear it apart, Marcus said. When we reach my ship, you will be free. If you choose to work with us on the archive, we'll sign a fair partnership. Choice is yours. She tilted her head, thinking. Freedom inside a fair partnership can be real, she decided at last. I will listen. The lift opened onto docking level 5. Their shuttle, a sleek white courier with blue Earth Fleet stripes, waited with engines warming. Lieutenant Rana, young and oil-smudged, stood at the ramp and stared wide-eyed at Lyrina. Marcus introduced them and asked Rana to prepare a cabin at 15 degrees Celsius and dim light. Rana nodded, cheeks flushing, and hurried to obey. A soft thump sealed the shuttle hatch. Safety webbing slid over seats like gentle vines. The pilot announced, clearance granted. Departing Cauldron Station in 90 seconds. Through the side window Cauldron's bright ring drifted, its advertisement holes flickering like day-glow fish. Marcus looked at Lyrina. Her gaze stayed on the stars, not the station. She seemed to read messages written in the void itself. We have a few hours before we meet my flagship, Marcus said. He tapped a console, and a three-dimensional star map unfolded in the air. Would you like to rest, talk, or browse star charts. Lyrina's eyes brightened. "Show me the local spiral arm," she requested. He expanded the holo. With one slender finger, she traced a delicate curve. The arc skipped past well-known hyperlanes and threaded through gravity wells most captains feared. The path ended close to the Dyson archive Marcus hoped to unlock. "What route is that?" he asked, surprised. "A hidden pattern," she said, "not visible to ordinary sensors. When I see your archive data, I may explain more." Marcus felt his pulse quicken. His simple hunch was already paying off. Outside, the shuttle's engine shifted pitch as they entered launch spin. Stars beyond the glass windows glimmered like spilled diamonds. Lyrina watched them with calm intensity, as though each spark carried silent grammar only she could hear. Back in the auction hall, clerks filed final reports. The jade-scaled auctioneer stopped over Lot 87, eye ridge raised. Why had the human spent 5,000 credits on a frail unknown? Charity? Secret knowledge? He shrugged and moved on. Numbers were his life. Destiny was someone else's concern. For Marcus Hale, destiny was very much his concern. As the shuttle angled toward the jump corridor, he glanced again at Lyrina. She reached out, reshaping the star holo into new constellations of her own design. Marcus smiled. Sometimes the smallest light could guide the widest journey, and sometimes the boldest choice was simply to listen to the quiet voice in a loud and glittering room. Commander Marcus Hale guided the courier shuttle toward Earth Fleet flagship Resolute. Docking lights blinked green against gray hull like a calm heartbeat. Through the forward port, the ship looked like a floating city. Tower decks, antenna forests, and broad armor plates, a place that could swallow 1,000 smaller craft and never feel full. The magnetic clamps clicked and a voice said, "Berth 35 secure." "Welcome back, Commander." Across the cabin, Lyrina unclipped her straps with graceful economy. The white tunic still hung loose on her slender frame, silver skin glowing under cabin lamps. She glanced once at the porthole, curiosity bright in violet eyes, then smoothed the cloth as if preparing for delicate ceremony. The hatch iris opened. Warm light and cooler air swept inside. Lieutenant Rana stood straight as a marker buoy, hand on holstered sidearm, but eyes wide with cautious wonder. Chief Petty Officer Yance waited with a portable scanner. Blue waves rolled across Lyrina's body. No threats detected, the chief reported, though a question lingered when unknown quantum echoes appeared near the alien's brainstem. "Welcome to Resolute," Marcus told Lyrina. "She is large, sometimes noisy, but her crew mean well." "A vessel with a kind heart must have a song," Lyrina replied, voice softer than paper turning. Marcus smiled. "Let's go hear it." He handed Yance a clearance badge-coated yellow sieve. "Show our guest the fast lifts and help her settle. Mess 2 serves hot tea all hours." Yance dipped her head, already warming to the assignment. As they walked away, Rana whispered, 5,000 credits for someone who quotes poetry. "You're braver than I thought, sir." "Or luckier," Marcus replied, though in truth he trusted instinct more than luck. Admiral Kaido Orlov and 11 department heads filled the command briefing room, arms folded, faces stern. Orlov opened without greeting. "You paid 5,000 credits for an unvetted auction lot. Explain." Marcus met their stares. The girl, Lyrina, may be the key to the Dyson archive. She traced a spectral fault line we have never released. Either stunning coincidence or talent we need. Colonel De Silva scowled. "Or bait laid by the Heliox combine." Navigation Chief Elsa Rice added, "Or artifact smuggling. Unknown quantum readings worry me." Science Officer Dr. Yvette Luo raised a calming hand. "If she can intuit those symmetries," she said, "we would be poor scientists to ignore it. Our entire mission hangs on cracking that archive." Marcus nodded. "Therefore I ask she be treated as visiting specialist, not property." After brisk debate, Orlov granted limited civilian clearance. "Any trouble is on you, Commander." Observation Deck 7 curved along the ship's port side. Gravity sat at a gentle half-G. Loose hair lifted like sea grass in mild current. Lyrina stood by the panoramic window, silver silhouette merged with the starfield. Chief Yance lingered a polite distance back, pointing out nearby nebula on a pocket pad, but Lyrina seemed transfixed by subtler sights. Marcus approached quietly. "The view pleases you. The void sings in many colors," she answered. "Your shield harmony hums C-sharp. It is soothing, though somewhere aft the song has a crack." Marcus blinked. "Crack. Tiny, like a flea on a drum," she said, then offered a small smile as if at a private joke. She raised a finger and traced on the glass. Pale light followed her motion, forming a living fractal spiral. Each branch split into 3, then 5, then returned to 3, repeating deeper and finer until the eye lost count. The glow pulsed, bright, dim, mimicking a heartbeat. Marcus recognized the pattern from Archive Node Delta, yet the inner lattice flowed like liquid math. Chief Yance whispered, "How is she doing that?" "Microfield interference," Marcus murmured. "Odd." Lyrina let the glow fade. "Your code tries to read the archive as letters," she said. "That is like tasting a melody. Wrong sense. With instruments, I can shape feeling into words, but I will need trust and time." "You shall have them," Marcus promised. Yance's respect showed in widened eyes. She touched the window, but the light was already gone. That evening Yance escorted Lyrina to a cabin. Small, clean, with a porthole facing the Orion spur. "Call if you need anything," the chief said, and left a thermos of jasmine tea. Lyrina studied the blanket's soft weave, the gentle light that dimmed on spoken command, the door that locked from inside. Freedom, tentative but real. Yet beneath the ship's steady hum she sensed an irregular note, a faint discord from far astern. She marked it as she drifted to sleep. Morning brought Marcus to the exercise track, doubt still chasing him until a wrist link alert chimed. Coolant leak, reactor segment 3. Lyrina's discord surfaced in his mind like a shark fin. At 900 he joined Dr. Liu in the neuro-optics lab. Lyrina sat beneath a crown of sensors. Harmonic pulses played. Holo-displays mapped her neural lattice, layered snowflakes turning within each other, retuning test signals as soon as they arrived. "Incredible," Liu whispered. "She's rewriting the field." Lyrina replied, "I am only singing back." An alarm blared. Radiation bloom in segment 3. Shutters jammed, crackled the comm. Marcus spun. "Bridge, seal bulkheads. I'm on my way." Lyrina rose. "I can help." "Radiation kills," Marcus warned. "Not if it bends," she said, stepping toward the door. Reactor segment 3 roared. Red strobes flashed across sweating metal. 2 engineers lay trapped behind a half-closed panel, exposure climbing. Marines wrestled jammed servos. Lyrina entered searing heat. She spread her palms and began a low duet, 2 notes weaving, merging. Pressure in the corridor shifted. Geiger clicks slowed, then softened to quiet taps. The lethal cone of rays curved like water round a stone, funneling into a shielded sump. Marines stared, astonished, as the trapped crew emerged coughing but alive. Lyrina's song faded. She swayed. Marcus caught her. "Medical." Scanners showed exhaustion. Nothing worse. Admiral Orlov's voice crackled. "Report." "Crisis contained," Marcus answered. "0 casualties. Reactor stable thanks to specialist Lyrina." A pause, then. "Acknowledged. Debrief when ready." An hour later in the strategy conference alcove, Orlov faced Marcus across a narrow table lit by situational holos. No audience this time, only candid appraisal. "The crew are buzzing," the Admiral said. "Some want her on every away team. Others want her off the ship before rumors breed panic." Marcus met the older man's weathered gaze. "Fear always fills a gap where knowledge should be. Give me 72 hours. Let Dr. Liu document today's event. Let Lyrina speak to the department heads openly. Truth will crowd fear out. Orlov rubbed his jaw. You never choose easy paths, Hale. Easy paths seldom lead to bright places. A corner of Orlov's mouth twitched, the closest thing he gave to a smile. Very well. 72 hours. Surprise me, but in a good way this time. Marcus saluted. As he left, he felt the weight of responsibility settle over his shoulders. Not heavy now, but purposeful, like armor fitted just right. By midday, the ship buzzed with fresh stories. Some crew whispered fear. Such power in alien hands. Many more felt pride that Earth fleet had shielded her before knowing her value. In mess halls, people replayed helmet cam footage. A fragile figure standing calm amid crimson glare while death itself bent away. In the infirmary, blue light glowed gentle. Marcus sat beside the resting alien. When her eyes opened, he said, "You saved lives." "Risk threads every tune," she answered. "Better to guide than be tangled." Marcus understood his gamble had changed. Now it was about guarding a person whose quiet power might change worlds, and who trusted him enough to use it beside him. He rose. "Rest. Tomorrow we begin turning feeling into words. Together we'll help this ship sing stronger." Lyrina closed her eyes, content. Outside, engineers patched pipes. Marines compared miracle and melody, and somewhere beyond the hull the Dyson archive stirred, sensing that finally someone who could hear its hidden song was drawing close. And in a quiet medical bay, a skinny alien girl dreamed not of cages, but of constellations waiting to be sung awake. Soon, very soon, indeed, Commander Marcus Hale guided the courier shuttle toward Earth Fleet flagship Resolute. Docking lights blinked green against gray hull like a calm heartbeat. Through the forward port, the ship looked like a floating city. Tower decks, antenna forests, and broad armor plates, a place that could swallow 1,000 smaller craft and never feel full. The magnetic clamps clicked and a voice said, "Berth 35 secure." "Welcome back, Commander." Across the cabin, Lyrina unclipped her straps with graceful economy. The white tunic still hung loose on her slender frame, silver skin glowing under cabin lamps. She glanced once at the porthole, curiosity bright in violet eyes, then smoothed the cloth as if preparing for delicate ceremony. The hatch iris opened. Warm light and cooler air swept inside. Lieutenant Rana stood straight as a marker buoy, hand on holstered sidearm, but eyes wide with cautious wonder. Chief Petty Officer Yance waited with a portable scanner. Blue waves rolled across Lyrina's body. "No threats detected," the chief reported, though a question lingered when unknown quantum echoes appeared near the alien's brainstem. "Welcome to Resolute," Marcus told Lyrina. "She is large, sometimes noisy, but her crew mean well." "A vessel with a kind heart must have a song," Lyrina replied, voice softer than paper turning. Marcus smiled. "Let's go hear it." He handed Yance a clearance badge coated yellow sieve. "Show our guest the fast lifts and help her settle. Mess 2 serves hot tea all hours." Yance dipped her head, already warming to the assignment. As they walked away, Rana whispered, 5,000 credits for someone who quotes poetry." "You're braver than I thought, sir." "Or luckier," Marcus replied, though in truth he trusted instinct more than luck. Admiral Kaido Orlov and 11 department heads filled the command briefing room, arms folded, faces stern. Orlov opened without greeting. "You paid 5,000 credits for an unvetted auction lot. Explain." Marcus met their stares. The girl, Lyrina, may be the key to the Dyson archive. She traced a spectral fault line we have never released. Either stunning coincidence or talent we need. Colonel De Silva scowled. Or bait laid by the Heliox Combine. Navigation Chief Elsa Rice added, or artifact smuggling. Unknown quantum readings worry me. Science Officer Dr. Igat Luo raised a calming hand. "If she can intuit those symmetries," she said, "we would be poor scientists to ignore it. Our entire mission hangs on cracking that archive." Marcus nodded. Therefore, I ask she be treated as visiting specialist, not property. After brisk debate, Orlov granted limited civilian clearance. Any trouble is on you, Commander. Observation Deck 7 curved along the ship's port side. Gravity sat at a gentle half-G. Loose hair lifted like sea grass in mild current. Lyrina stood by the panoramic window, silver silhouette merged with the starfield. Chief Yance lingered a polite distance back, pointing out nearby nebula on a pocket pad, but Lyrina seemed transfixed by subtler sights. Marcus approached quietly. The view pleases you. The void sings in many colors, she answered. Your shield harmony hums C-sharp. It is soothing, though somewhere aft the song has a crack. Marcus blinked. Crack. Tiny, like a flea on a drum, she said, then offered a small smile as if at a private joke. She raised a finger and traced on the glass. Pale light followed her motion, forming a living fractal spiral. Each branch split into 3, then 5, then returned to 3, repeating deeper and finer until the eye lost count. The glow pulsed, bright, dim, mimicking a heartbeat. Marcus recognized the pattern from Archive Node Delta, yet the inner lattice flowed like liquid math. Chief Yance whispered, "How is she doing that?" Microfield interference, Marcus murmured. Odd. Lyrina let the glow fade. Your code tries to read the archive as letters, she said. That is like tasting a melody. Wrong sense. With instruments, I can shape feeling into words, but I will need trust and time. You shall have them, Marcus promised. Yance's respect showed in widened eyes. She touched the window, but the light was already gone. That evening, Yance escorted Lyrina to a cabin. Small, clean, with a porthole facing the Orion Spur. Call if you need anything, the chief said, and left a thermos of jasmine tea. Lyrina studied the blanket's soft weave, the gentle light that dimmed on spoken command, the door that locked from inside. Freedom, tentative but real. Yet beneath the ship's steady hum she sensed an irregular note, a faint discord from far astern. She marked it as she drifted to sleep. Morning brought Marcus to the exercise track, doubt still chasing him until a wristlink alert chimed. Coolant leak, reactor segment 3. Lyrina's discord surfaced in his mind like a shark fin. At 900 he joined Dr. Luo in the neuro-optics lab. Lyrina sat beneath a crown of sensors. Harmonic pulses played. Holo-displays mapped her neural lattice. Layered snowflakes turning within each other, retuning test signals as soon as they arrived. Incredible, Luo whispered. She's rewriting the field. Lyrina replied, I am only singing back. An alarm blared. Radiation bloom in segment 3. Shutters jammed. Crackled the comm. Marcus spun. Bridge, seal bulkheads. I'm on my way. Lyrina rose. I can help. Radiation kills, Marcus warned. Not if it bends, she said, stepping toward the door. Reactor segment 3 roared. Red strobes flashed across sweating metal. 2 engineers lay trapped behind a half-closed panel, exposure climbing. Marines wrestled jammed servos. Lyrina entered searing heat. She spread her palms and began a low duet, 2 notes weaving, merging. Pressure in the corridor shifted. Geiger clicks slowed, then softened to quiet taps. The lethal cone of rays curved like water round a stone, funneling into a shielded sump. Marines stared, astonished, as the trapped crew emerged coughing but alive. Lyrina's song faded. She swayed. Marcus caught her. Medical. Scanners showed exhaustion. Nothing worse. Admiral Orlov's voice crackled. Report. Crisis contained, Marcus answered. 0 casualties. Reactor stable thanks to specialist Lyrina. A pause then. Acknowledged. Debrief when ready. An hour later, in the strategy conference alcove, Orlov faced Marcus across a narrow table lit by situational holos. No audience this time, only candid appraisal. The crew are buzzing, the Admiral said. Some want her on every away team. Others want her off the ship before rumors breed panic. Marcus met the older man's weathered gaze. Fear always fills a gap where knowledge should be. Give me 72 hours. Let Dr. Luo document today's event. Let Lyrina speak to the department heads openly. Truth will crowd fear out. Orlov rubbed his jaw. You never choose easy paths, Hale. Easy paths seldom lead to bright places. A corner of Orlov's mouth twitched, the closest thing he gave to a smile. Very well. 72 hours. Surprised me, but in a good way this time. Marcus saluted. As he left, he felt the weight of responsibility settle over his shoulders. Not heavy now, but purposeful, like armor fitted just right. By midday, the ship buzzed with fresh stories. Some crew whispered fear. Such power in alien hands. Many more felt pride that Earth fleet had shielded her before knowing her value. In mess halls, people replayed helmet cam footage. A fragile figure standing calm amid crimson glare while death itself bent away. In the infirmary, blue light glowed gentle. Marcus sat beside the resting alien. When her eyes opened, he said, "You saved lives." "Risk threads every tune," she answered. "Better to guide than be tangled." Marcus understood his gamble had changed. Now it was about guarding a person whose quiet power might change worlds, and who trusted him enough to use it beside him. He rose. "Rest. Tomorrow we begin turning feeling into words. Together we'll help this ship sing stronger." Lyrina closed her eyes, content. Outside, engineers patched pipes. Marines compared miracle and melody, and somewhere beyond the hull the Dyson archive stirred, sensing that finally someone who could hear its hidden song was drawing close. And in a quiet medical bay, a skinny alien girl dreamed not of cages, but of constellations waiting to be sung awake. Soon. Very soon. Indeed, early morning sunlight filtered through the portholes of the low-gravity training deck. Commander Marcus Hale watched as Lyrina floated gently in the soft half-G. She wore a slim training suit, its light fabric clinging to her silver skin. Her eyes shone with curiosity as she moved, attempting flips and rolls with surprising grace despite her low physical aptitude tag at the auction. Beside her, two human cadets spun slowly, testing their balance and weightlessness. "Relax your shoulders," Marcus advised, voice calm. "Let your body follow the motion." He knew Lyrina needed time to adjust to even light gravity. Her species had lived for generations on a world with near-zero gravity, so every step here felt like crossing an ocean. She nodded and tried again. This time her form arsed smoothly, her thin arms guiding her spin. From the control console, Lieutenant Rana watched Lyrina's progress. The young officer could not hide her surprise when Lyrina executed a perfect somersault and grinned, a small, gentle curve of her lips. Rana leaned toward Marcus in a low voice. "I did not believe she could do that so quickly." Marcus only smiled. He had learned long ago not to judge anyone by first impressions. He let Lyrina continue practicing, turning his attention to the star charts displayed on the deck's central console. He tapped a few keys, checking the route toward the Dyson archive, and calculating optimal angles for the next jump. Without warning, the deck's overhead speakers crackled. "Warning! Unforecasted radiation storm approaching. All persons proceed to designated safety stations." The clear tone of the announcement carried a hint of urgency. Within seconds, red lights began to pulse along the walls. Lyrina hovered in midair, confusion flickering across her violet eyes. Marcus set aside the console. "Lyrina, follow me. Stay close." He activated a small magnetic tether on his belt. The line attached to a rail near the deck's entrance, intended for emergency use. Lyrina gave a slight nod and grasped the tether, anchoring herself. Most cadets panicked, flailing in the soft gravity. One young man drifted too far from the rail and struggled to reach safety. Marcus moved quickly, pushing off gently to catch the student before he collided with a wall. He snapped the student's harness to the emergency rail, then returned to Lyrina's side. They made their way toward the lift, but alarms had begun to sound more urgently. The radiation storm's edge had caught the ship off guard. Reports from multiple sensors showed the storm's high-energy particles tearing at the outer shields. Bridge officers could barely keep readings stable. Marcus helped Lyrina into the lift. The doors closed with a soft hiss. The display above the door read, "To bridge, all levels." Marcus tapped for priority access. The lift shuddered once, then lifted smoothly. As they rode, Lyrina peered at Marcus. "Storm is stronger than expected," she said softly. "It sings in sharp tones." Marcus nodded. "Bridge will be loud right now. Shields might go down soon." He pressed a hand to his comlink. "This is hail. Prepare for possible shock of shield collapse. Medical and security, stand by." Lyrina did not ask questions. Instead, she closed her eyes. The lift's humming transformed into a subtle backdrop, like a low bass note in a melody only she could hear. When the lift doors opened onto the bridge, the scene felt almost like a war movie. Panels blinked red and yellow. Crew in blue uniforms ran from station to station, calling out data. The captain's chair sat empty, as Captain Orlov had moved to the command console near the stern. Radiation levels were rising. The main shield grid flickered, then lost power. Alarms blared. A pulse of violet glow spread across the forward viewport, as if the storm itself had turned fluorescent. Lieutenant Commander Ishida at the helm shouted, "Shields are down. Hull is taking flux." "Where is the radiation node?" Marcus asked, scanning the holomap. A glowing blob hovered just off the starboard bow. It pulsed with dangerous energy. Weeks had passed since Lyrina saved the Resolute from the radiation storm. The human and alien crews had grown used to each other's rhythms and quirks. Many officers still watched Lyrina with awe, but now they also treated her as a friend. Commander Marcus Hale found that every step forward began with a simple question. What did Lyrina need? Whether it was a gentle melody at dawn or a moment of quiet to rest, he tried to honor her limits. Now Resolute edged near a dim, casing world called Asheron IV. The planet lay silent under a pale sun. In orbit around it hovered the ancient Dyson Archive Station. Its long arms circled in slow grace, like a silent dancer frozen in time. A dull glow hinted at the vast data vault hidden inside. No human had set foot there in a century. Marcus went to the bridge with Dr. Yvette Luo and Chief Petty Officer Yance. The central display showed a cluster of ships between Resolute and the archive. The display glowed red. "Who are they?" Marcus asked. Lieutenant Farr, at the tactical station, tapped a series of controls. No transponder signals match known friendly traffic. They hail from forbidden space, likely agents of the Heliox Combine. Dr. Luo frowned. The Combine have been hunting clues to the archive for decades. If they reach it first, they could seize unlimited power. Chief Yance straightened her uniform. Lyrina must be protected. If the Combine knows she can unlock the archive, they will try to capture her. Marcus nodded. "Sound yellow alert. Warn all departments. I want 2 quick response teams ready." He turned to the pilot. "Hold position off the archive station. Keep a safe buffer of 20,000 kilometers. We will not let them board." Below decks, Lyrina practiced her morning vocal exercises in a quiet chamber. A small group of cadets sat in a circle, learning basic harmonic patterns under her guidance. The soft notes made gentle ripples in the light inside. Lyrina felt at peace when she helped others learn how to sing the simplest tones. Every time her voice wove a safe net around each student, she remembered the harmony she used to calm a deadly storm. Her training drone buzzed. A calm voice spoke through her personal channel. "Lyrina, please report to the briefing room." Lyrina glanced at the door, then tapped the comlink. "On my way." She gathered her tunic dampened with sweat. She brushed her silver hair back from her face and followed the corridor past gleaming bulkheads. In the briefing room, Marcus stood at one end of a long table. Yance and Dr. Luo stood beside him. Admiral Orlov's duplicate feed hovered in a holoprojector, his face drawn. "Lyrina, Marcus said gently, "These ships ahead are from the Heliox Combine. We have detected 5 corvettes and 2 transport vessels. They are closing on the archive station." Lyrina's violet eyes lingered on the hologram of the combined vessels. "They seek the archive, and they know I exist." Orlov's projected image spoke, voice grave. "We cannot let them capture you. We also cannot allow them to gain the archive. We need a plan." Dr. Luo lifted a folder filled with data scans. Sensors show that the archive station's defensive turrets are offline. Its own power systems have decayed. It will not repel a boarding party. Marcus leaned forward. "We have only one chance. We will send a small team to the archive to secure the main data vault. At the same time, we will brace here to shield Lyrina." Lyrina's gaze moved from Marcus to Dr. Luo, then back. "If I go to the archive, I can guide the team through the ancient lock codes, but I will be vulnerable." Marcus offered a soft smile. "I will go with you. Lieutenant Rana and Chief Yance will accompany us. Remaining friends on Resolute will monitor and intervene if necessary." Lyrina nodded, though faint worry flickered in her eyes. "Then let us go." A small shuttle left Resolute and drifted toward the orbiting archive station. The docking bay lay dead and empty, like a long-forgotten cave. Outside, cold starlight poured through broken panels. Lyrina hovered in the airlock, her hands folded. Chief Yance scanned her with a gentle frown. "Stay close," Yance said. "Watch your step. The corridors are old, and parts might be unstable." Lyrina nodded, silence wrapping her like a cloak. Lieutenant Rana checked her pulse with a portable scanner. "All clear," Rana said. She gave a quick nod. "Let's move." Marcus led the way through narrow halls lit by flickering lamps. The station's long corridors curved out in rings, each ring decayed more than the last. They passed empty rooms coated in dust. Strange, faded banners hung from the walls, symbols from many lost species. The air smelled of old metal and a faint aroma of unknown chemicals. At a sharp turn, the corridor opened into a vast chamber. In its center, a massive disk of glowing glass hovered above a stone pedestal. The disk rippled with shifting patterns, ancient data streams that read like living history. Marcus recognized that disk as the main data node. Lyrina approached it with slow grace. She extended a silver hand toward the glass. "The archive's song is faint. Let me attune." Marcus stood back, heart steady. "Take your time." She closed her eyes. Soft hums rose from her throat. The hums filled the room, and the disk glowed brighter. Tiny lines of silver light crept along the glass's surface. Lyrina whispered patterns in an unknown language. Each syllable felt like a step in a ritual. The data node responded, unlocking layer after layer of the archive's security locks. Lieutenant Rana exchanged a glance with Chief Yance. "She is reading the codes," Rana whispered. "In minutes, we will have full access." Dr. Luo studied Lyrina's reflection in the glowing glass. "Look at her concentration. She is learning the archive's history as she unlocks it. This knowledge could change everything." The small shuttle glided toward the Earth Fleet flagship, resolute like a silent bird returning to its nest. Inside, Lyrina sat on a padded bench, her silver hands folded in her lap. She felt the gentle hum of the engines under her. Her heart still thudded with echoes of the Combine's attack on the archive station. She closed her violet eyes and tried to remember the notes of her final song there, a farewell to the archive's hollow corridors, filled with secrets of vanished worlds. Commander Marcus Hale sat beside her. He placed a steady hand on her shoulder. "You did well," he said, voice quiet. "We have everything we came for. Now we must learn it." Lyrina opened her eyes. She looked at Marcus and nodded. "I am ready," she said softly. Outside the viewport, the stars shifted as the shuttle aligned with Resolute's docking bay. Mechanics in orange suits gave them a thumbs up as the clamps clicked in place. Marcus and Lyrina stood and stepped down the ramp, passing sailors who bowed in respect. The ship's corridors felt familiar now, bright lights, soft hum of engines, and faint scent of recycled air. Down the hallway, a holo-sign pointed toward the neuro-optics lab. Dr. Yvette Liu waited by the door, data drives in hand. Behind her, Chief Petty Officer Yance and Lieutenant Rana stood alert, ready to guide Lirina to a place of study. Marcus led the way with quiet steps. In the lab, a large holotable displayed a three-dimensional model of the Dyson Archive Station. Thousands of tiny data nodes lay suspended in a glowing lattice. Many nodes pulsed with pale light, records of history, technology, and language. Dr. Liu waved them onto padded chairs. "Welcome back," she said, offering Lirina a cup of mint tea. Lirina accepted it and sipped gently. "We have loaded all the files you unlocked," Dr. Liu continued, "but the archive's language is strange. Much of it is musical, built on harmonic patterns rather than letters. That is why we need you." Lirina set down her cup. "I heard the archive's song when I touched the data node. It was faint, like a lost memory. I remember how to coax it." Dr. Liu pressed a control. A panel of holoscreens lit up around Lirina. Each screen showed a block of ancient musical notation. Lines and curves drifted like starlight waves. Marcus peered over Lirina's shoulder, studying the patterns. Lirina placed a hand on the nearest screen. She closed her eyes and sang a low, gentle tone, 2 notes in perfect harmony. The curves in the notation glowed softly, and the holoscreens shifted. Each block of musical symbols rearranged itself into a new pattern. Marcus and Rana leaned forward. Yance lifted her handheld scanner as if to catch invisible data. Minutes passed in silence, broken only by Lirina's soft singing. Each time she matched a harmonic phrase, a holoscreen lit up with a short text. First a simple phrase like construction log, then a paragraph of technical data. Slowly the texts formed coherent sections: engineering plans for vessel repair, star map coordinates, linguistic tables of ancient dialects, and finally a section called Ever-Generator Blueprint. Marcus held his breath. "The Ever-Generator," he said, voice low. "This is what we came for." Dr. Liu's eyes filled with excitement. "Let me see." She tapped on one holoscreen, and a detailed schematic appeared. The Ever-Generator looked like a large ring of layered components: coils, crystal matrices, energy cores, arranged around a central axis. Text fields hovered near each part, explaining how to assemble and power it. Lirina opened her eyes and looked at the schematic. "This device can shape star energy into a controlled stream," she said, voice trembling with awe. "It can restore a dying star to brilliance or, if misused, collapse a star's core. My people built one long ago, but we lost it." Matos, a junior engineer at the lab, stepped forward and studied the text. "Do we understand how to build this?" he asked. Lirina frowned slightly. "The blueprint uses a harmonic language. You must match each component to a frequency, like tuning a string. If a coil is off by even a small amount, the energy will not flow properly." Dr. Liu nodded. "We can test the designs on simulators. If we get the harmonic tuning right, we could build a prototype array in one of our labs. But we will need rare materials, stellar crystals from a neutron star, beryllium filaments, and a supply of dark lattice conduits." Marcus tapped his comlink. "Engineering, prepare a list of needed materials. Begin sourcing from allied mining colonies. Security, keep Lirina protected. Full report to Admiral Orlov." He turned to Lirina. "This is the moment your gift matters most." Lirina bowed her head slightly. "Then let us not lose any time." Due to the success at the Dyson Archive and the rapid work on the Ever-Generator prototype, the Heliox Combine had become desperate. Their corvettes prowled the outer systems, and their strike teams prepared for a final blow. They had learned of Resolute's prototype array and Lirina's unique gift. Now they aimed to seize the Ever-Generator's core components and test them as a weapon. The Core Forge was an ancient station built by a long-gone race known as the Forgers of Luz. It lay near the unstable core of a gas giant, balanced on drifting asteroids tethered by plasma cables. The station's purpose was to forge star-borne alloys, materials strong enough to endure the heart of a star. In modern times, the core forge sat idle, its furnaces cold but its structure intact. Earth fleet had selected it as a secure place to complete the Ever-Generator's final assembly. At dawn on the station's orbit, a fleet of Helix corvettes emerged from a gravity well shimmer. Their black hulls glinted under the star's light, and their engines spat red exhaust. The Combine's 2 flagship destroyers led the line. They bore fresh weapon arrays, each capable of melting metal at thousands of degrees. Human scouts spotted the threat half an hour out. Admiral Orlov convened a rapid briefing on Resolute's bridge. Marcus stood with Lirina, Dr. Liu, and Chief Engineer Matos. The main holodisplay showed the core forge, a 6-armed wheel spinning slowly above the gas giant's upper atmosphere. Orlov said, "The Combine intends to board and seize the station. If they succeed, they will activate the prototype as a bomb. We cannot allow that." Dr. Liu pointed to the holo. "Most of the Ever-Generator's final parts are here. The station's forges can melt and reshape the core if forced. We must protect every component." Matos added, "The core forge has old defense turrets, but they use collapsed power. We can try to reroute energy, but we only have minutes." Lirina nodded. "If we hold them off long enough, I may disable their shields when they board." Her voice was firm. She had grown stronger in recent cycles. Marcus looked at her, proud but worried. "We will protect you. Our strike team leaves in 5 minutes. You will lead the effort to the central control node. Dr. Liu and Matos will accompany you to secure the forges. Rana and Yance will guard you. I will command from orbit." Lirina bowed. "I am ready." Shuttles launched from Resolute in tight formation. 8 human assault shuttles rode under fighter escort. The fighters skimmed past the station's outer ring, marking Combined vessels. Torpedoes flashed silently as they sped toward enemy shields. On the core forge's landing platform, the human strike team disembarked. Marcus had commanded extra armor plating on their suits and helmets. Each soldier carried a magnetic rifle that could fire non-lethal charged slugs to disable mechs and jam computer circuits. They also had grapnel hooks and magnetic mag boots to cling to metal walls. Lirina stood at the platform edge, looking at the station's old corridors. The forges lay deep inside. She maintained calm. Her presence alone steadied the team. Lieutenant Rana and Chief Yance took positions on either side of her. Behind them, Dr. Liu and Matos carried portable scanners and data pads. Marcus watched from a remote console in Resolute's detachment command ship. He could not be with them in person, but he would direct the fight. The human fighters dived to intercept incoming Combined fighters. Explosions lit the void as laser beams danced. On the core forge, alarms blared. Old quartering lights flickered. The station had been quiet for a century. Its systems now awoke in panic. Marcus guided the team by comlink. "Proceed to Forge Bay 7. Use the maintenance shafts to avoid detection. I will warn you if Combined troops approach." Lirina led them down a grim steel corridor. Her boots clanged softly on the floor, and the sound echoed. Walls bore faded murals of metal sculptures and star-borne fires. Here and there, broken panels exposed frayed wires. The shuttle landing ramp had sealed behind them. Emergency lighting guided their steps. At a junction, Rana pointed ahead. Motion sensors picked up heat signatures. "Combined infantry moving toward us." Lirina nodded. "Stand ready." The corridor curved down a steep drop. They saw a group of Helix soldiers rounding the corner. Each carried a stun rifle and wore dark gray armor. When the Combined saw the human team, they raised their weapons. Sergeant Lopes, second in command, triggered his mag boots. He pushed off the wall and drifted toward the nearest Helix soldier. He fired a charged slug at his chest plate. The slug struck with a bright flash. The soldier's rifle sparks and powered down. Others turned to fire. Lieutenant Rana aimed at the second soldier's leg joint. She fired a charged slug that jammed his knee servo. The soldier floated helplessly, unable to move. Behind them, Chief Yance activated her drone, a small sphere humming with electricity. She guided it into the nearest combined trooper. The drone latched onto his back and emitted an EMP pulse. The trooper's suit systems died, and he tumbled, eyes wide in shock. Dr. Liu and Matos moved to seal the bulkhead behind the captured trooper. They used magnetic clamps to lock the heavy door. "They will come back in force," Matos warned, slamming his shoulder into the seal. Lirina held up a hand. "We cannot stay here. Move forward." They returned to the main corridor and continued deeper into the station. The flickering lights gave the place a haunted feel. Metal grating beneath their boots crunched. The hum of power conduits grew louder as they neared the forges. Further ahead, the corridor opened into a vast chamber ringed by dormant furnaces. Massive pipes ran along the ceiling, glinting with old soot. Conveyor belts lay still in the center, used long ago to move forged metal across the bay. The massive main door that led deeper into the control core stood open, though its edges were scorched by plasma. Lirina studied the chamber. "The central node is 2 levels below. We must use the service lift on the far side." She motioned the team forward. Lieutenant Rana checked her map pad. "The lift, judging by this schematic, still works. We can ride it down." They crossed the chamber, careful to stay clear of broken machinery. When they reached the lift, Rana pressed the access panel. Red lights blinked. The lift doors hissed open. Inside was a narrow metal cage big enough for 6 people. Lirina led them in. The lift plunged downward. The metal walls rattled. Outside, pipes and conduits whisked past, lit by occasional sparks where live wires had exposed. The air smelled of hot metal and old coolant. When the lift stopped, they found themselves in a narrow passage, lined with pipes carrying superheated plasma. Warning lights glowed. The narrow corridor curved into a control room. Huge control consoles, many broken, lined the walls. At its center, a circular pedestal held the Evergenerator's core module, a spherical device wrapped in metallic loops, humming faintly with stored energy. Lirina exhaled. "There it is." Matos moved forward, careful. "We must secure the module. Then we can finish assembly here or carry it back." He raised his scanner. Sensors show combined troops on the level above. "We need to act fast." Lirina placed a hand on the module. She closed her eyes and sang a low, soothing tone. The loops around the sphere glowed bright silver. The room trembled slightly as the sphere resonated. "I am stabilizing it," she said. "If we touch it without care, the energy could arc and harm us." Rana and Yance stood guard. They peered up the hatch to the level above. The Combine's battle mechs, 4-legged walking machines, clopped along the corridor. Each mech carried cannons and stun nets. The mechs stomped heavily, each footfall rattling the floor. Sergeant Lopes nodded. "They are close. I can delay them for a moment, but not long." He tapped his mag boots and drifted toward the hatch. He fired a slug at one mech's leg servo. Sparks flew as the mech wobbled. Another slug hit a mech's sensor array, jamming its targeting system. The mechs hissed and spun their cannons toward him. Months passed. The Dyson Archive's full restoration began under teams led by Lirina's students. Engineers and scholars from many species worked side by side. They'd reconstructed broken nodes, rebuilt shield generators, and restored data conduits. In one restored chamber, Eleanor Yu and a group of alien linguists activated a hologram of the Dyson Archive's founder, a being of light and harmonic voice. The image spoke in an ancient language, but Lirina's presence allowed her to translate in real time. The hologram's message spoke of unity, wisdom, and the goal of preserving knowledge for all sentient beings. As the hologram faded, Lirina addressed the gathered crowd. "This archive was not built to serve one empire. It was built by many. Now, in this new era, we rebuild it for all. Cheering filled the chamber. Across the station, similar ceremonies took place, each one a promise that the archive would never again be used for greed or war. On a quiet evening in the Core Forge's new control tower, Lyrina and Marcus watched stars glide past the reinforced window. Below them, forges glowed with life, not flames, powering farms that floated in the planet's upper atmosphere. Union flags of many species flew from the station's pylons. Lyrina rested her head on Marcus's shoulder. "Do you think my people would be proud?" Marcus kissed the top of her head. "I know they would. You have honored their memory and guided us all toward a brighter future." Lyrina smiled softly. "My song began with fear, but it ends with hope." He wrapped an arm around her. "And that hope will spread to every corner of the galaxy." She nodded. "This forge will now build tools for healing, starships, sensors, power arrays. No more weapons." Marcus pointed to the horizon, where distant stars burned bright. "Look there. New worlds wait. They will hear our song next." Lyrina closed her eyes and sang 3 notes that glowed through the control tower. The forges hummed in response, growing warmer. Below, a fleet of mixed-species ships prepared to depart. Each carried engineers, doctors, and teachers bound for new lands to share knowledge and song. Flags fluttered in the low-gravity breeze. A small child ran across the platform, waving a flower at Lyrina's window. Lyrina waved back, her smile gentle. Marcus breathed deeply. 1 year ago, few believed in that child's hope. Now, every world will feel its power. Lyrina opened her eyes, violet light soft. The galaxy is never too dark for one small voice to shine. Marcus nodded, and we will carry that light wherever we go. Beyond the Core Forge's bay doors, stars waited in silent promise. In the quiet control tower, Lyrina and Marcus stood together, ready for the next journey. Their bond was more than friendship. It was a new song for all who would listen. As Lyrina's melody drifted through the station, the galaxy itself seemed to hum in harmony. In that moment, hope was not just a word. It was a living tune, a promise of unity, healing, and endless possibility.